Diamonds were recently added as a new progression system to Marvel Strike Force, and for today I'm going to be showing you guys which characters you need to be using your upgrades on. And my video and list start off with Anti-Venom. He is #1 on the list. He's the very first character you should be putting your promotions into. Just kidding. Just a little reference to some other stuff. If you know, you know. Anyway, so before we hop in, I want to let you know that if your character is not at 7 yellow and 7 red stars, you cannot use this system. No, you cannot have 7 yellow without the red or red without the yellow. You need both. You need to have access to that because this is designed to work after that. So basically, it's just an extension of that system. And as you see, the stat buffs get pretty crazy. As you guys saw a moment ago in the exchange shop, they are offering 1s, and then after you get the 1, it'll change to 2, and then after that it'll change to 3, just like red star promotion upgrades. So in the description, I'm gonna leave information pertaining to you guys, right? I want you to read that, check it out when you finish this. It's gonna be sort of a criteria of things that you should know, right? So in the future, maybe some information in this video changes, but I hope that you guys can read that information in the description and see what you need to know and see what applies to you, basically. So the first character on my list is Kang. I think that he is, pun intended, timeless. I think he's going to be a character that is super valuable for a very long time to come. His speed bar manipulation, his overall damage output, everything about Kang is awesome. He's also a stat behemoth. His stats are so insanely high. Kang is just an incredible character who is going to age really, really well in this game. So I think that he is totally worth it. Anyway, moving on to the next one, Spider Weaver. So I want you guys to ask yourself a question. When you are choosing the characters that you want to upgrade, are they characters you use consistently in this game? Maybe you use them every day, maybe you use them every other day, because maybe you only use them in war or something like that, right? Every other day. Or maybe you don't use them ever. If they're a character you use consistently, then move on to the next question. And that question is, are they a character that you use consistently and also functions with a couple of these primary roles? Are they a damage dealer like a blaster or a brawler? Or are they a defender or protector type of character like Captain America or Spider Weaver, who are designed on having mechanics that keep your entire team alive, or they're designed like Captain America to just eat hits, right? Because those characters are the ones that are going to benefit the most from the increase in stats. This also applies to red stars, but obviously this is an offshoot of that. But the higher the stat applies, the better every single character will perform, yes. But the characters that rely on stats to get their effects off are the ones that are going to benefit the most from this upgrade. So a character like Kang, while he doesn't rely on stats, he is designed to be a damage dealer. He's going to do so much more damage, obviously, which helps your entire team, helps you win. So you want to put it in him. Captain America, maybe he'll live longer. Spoiler, we're going to talk about him in a little bit. Things like that. So there are other characters like Emma Frost, or characters that are just more quote-unquote kit-based, where, again, the increase could help them, but I wouldn't go out of my way to target them because they're just gonna do their thing. It doesn't really matter, right? Doctor Doom, right? You can't really do him, but if you could, I wouldn't really put him on him either because, yeah, his ultimate could hit kind of hard, but what you really use Doom for is the 3 turns on the character that you're using him with. So you get my point, right? Weaver. Awesome character. She is a character that I use semi-often. She's not a character that's super duper valuable in a lot of modes anymore. Like, she's not really arena viable for me anymore. At the level you play at, maybe she is. And also I want to mention that, like, characters like her or like Icarus that once upon a time were super duper strong are not super duper strong for me, but could be for you and the environment you're seeing, the war levels you're seeing, the crucible opponents you're seeing. Maybe that's a thing, right? Your arena shard. That all is a player specific thing, whether you're a beginner, middle, late game. I'm extreme late game. I have super scroll, so I'm extreme late game. So anyway, she's got that sustainability effect with the charges, which is really, really strong. Do not sleep on her. She is an awesome character to upgrade, even though, like I said, she's a character that I use every now and again. She's got some war usage, got some crucible usage. That's mostly it, because you can't really use whoever you want in raids, obviously, because they limit who you take there, and she's not one I can take. So Ghost Rider Robbie, admittedly not a character a lot of you guys like Kang are going to have at 7, but I thought it would be malpractice to not put him on the true list. If you guys want to see a more budget friendly option, which probably still would include Weaver, by the way, because she was given out due to erroneous behaviors. If you want to see that, hit the thumbs up and let me know in the comments as well. Ghost Rider Robbie, incredible character. So I didn't want my list to be all secret defenders because really I could have put Miss Marvel and Photon. Typically you drop Photon off, but Miss Marvel and Photon because Photon is insane in war. A-Force is crazy strong. A-Force has been reworked like 2 to 3 times now. Like, they're crazy strong. So I have had them built for a while, so plugging Photon in, and Photon is so crazy good. But the point is, I didn't want my list to be like that because those characters could have been here, but I'm only going to use Robbie because I think Robbie is the most valuable of the 3. Miss Marvel is very valuable too because her mechanics that she has and also being an APOC counter basically is really strong. But Robbie is the one that I think you could put in any mode and function successfully. He's good in Crucible, he's good in War, he's good at, okay, he's not good in Raids, but he's good everywhere. He's good everywhere, Arena, everywhere. And you don't even need him on the full team. That's another thing. You don't need him on a full team and some of these other characters on their full teams. You could plug Robbie in with Undying or something like that, other characters that are putting out a lot of bleeds or function with bleeds, and he will slide in very well. He's going to get the speed bar mechanic, and Robbie is the solo carry for City in Dark Dimension 6. He is crazy in Dark Dimension 6. Easily, you know, he's probably the 3rd most important character on this list. There's no order, but probably the 3rd one behind Kang and probably the next character. Yep, the next character, but behind Kestrel too, probably. So Kestrel is a character that is really old. I think she's 2 years old now. Anyway, Kestrel has always been a character that's been really strong in the game because she has several things she does, but her passive effect where if the opponent has defense down, she hits them for 400% damage on the most injured enemy. That's extremely strong. I want to use this as a moment to throw an honorable mention. By the way, if you didn't understand, I did throw honorable mentions to Photon and Miss Marvel. You should do them if you get the opportunity. They're good, right? Anyway, honorable mentions to other characters that do out of turn damage. And what I mean by that is when it's not their turn, they're still hitting the opponent like this. This is something that can proc several times in a turn, and it's not Kestrel's turn. So anyway, other characters like Black Bolt or the older Ghost Rider or Archangel or Gambit, you should probably not do a couple of those characters, but characters that have those types of mechanics are very strong and will benefit from increased damage stats. So keep that in mind as well. If you're a Gambit fan like Tana and you have him really maxed out and you use unlimited often, I would consider it. Anyway, Kestrel, very strong, dual traded tech and skill that could be useful for you guys running Doom raids. It's not really useful in an Incursion 1. Maybe it will be in 2, but either way, she's on Pegasus. She's a raid character, the most recent raid team, so she's not falling off anytime soon. Very strong in every mode she's available to be used in. Again, you're probably not using her in Arena, but she's good everywhere else, so keep that in mind too. And above all else, she is an awesome character. Do put Raider on her. Striker is really strong, but you definitely want Raider now. All right, moving on, Vol. So Vol, just like Robbie, is a carry character in Dark Dimension. She is the engine of Cosmic until you get Super Scroll. When you run Super Scroll on that second run, it's insane. It doesn't matter who else you take. I took Kang, I took her. It doesn't matter who else you have. It doesn't matter. Cosmic is still a trudge. It is difficult, but when you add Scroll, as you would imagine, it's pretty crazy. Also because her effects do work in Dark Dimension. She is designed as a Dark Dimension character and a raid character, so she's very valuable and strong in Dark Dimension. I should say excuse me. I have the girl costume on, but you get my point. Vol is extremely strong in multiple modes. Now, Vol is not great in Arena. I actually tested her with Scroll in Arena because God, it's so hard. Forgive me. If you care anyway. I did test Vol in Arena. It wasn't great, but that's because Vol doesn't get the speed bar mechanic, but nonetheless, Vol is only okay in War. So Vol's kind of like probably the most controversial character I think we've touched on yet, but I do think that ultimate being the one person army that Vol is, where in raids or whatever mode you're in where it applies, Vol can just resurrect the team. It's pretty crazy, right? So I think that there's really strong synergy with that, and I think that the increase, keeping Vol alive, having Vol do more damage is very valuable. Quicksilver. Quicksilver is a character that I know a lot of people are controversial about upgrading. Actually, he's a dark promo character. I don't know that you actually can do Quicksilver. Okay, I'm not sure if you can. I didn't realize this. I don't know that you can do Quicksilver because he's a dark promo. Let me know. I don't know. If you can, I think he's worth it. But if you pushed him to 7, that was also a really, really heavy investment because he is a dark promo character. So ignore Quicksilver for now. Moving on, Nick Fury. Nick Fury's. Hey, so here's another honorable mention. Characters that summon other characters are very strong too. Now, part of the reason why is because the more T4s, levels, gear tiers, stars that you put on your base character, which would be Nick Fury in this case, all of that applies to the summons. And Nick Fury's summons did get reworked, and they're really strong alongside him. They make the Invaders team insane in raids and stuff like that. So anyway, characters like that, or Mysterio, who recently got reworked, those are characters you should consider as well, because their summons are also getting those bonuses too. So Nick Fury, very strong character, has some decent plug and play utility. You can kind of plug him into teams everywhere and just kind of do what he wants to do, because you start off with Rally, he passes off to speed up and death proof, whatever it is, and it works off pretty good. He's the only legendary character on my list, or at least he was. I'll amend it a little bit. So Hulk. Hulk is one that I think is kind of interesting. I actually really like Hulk. He is just a beat stick, but you sometimes, if you've played against Hulk, you know this. Sometimes you get into the loop where he just takes a bunch of turns over and over and he just heals. It's pretty crazy. And then when you see Hulk in that environment, especially in war, he just blows teams up. So it's crazy. And so another honorable mention, characters that also get counter hits, which also technically is out of turn damage because they'd be countering when they're hit. They are also really strong with that too. So do consider characters that get that. So Hulk is a character I think you should consider. But I also want to throw other, because you can't, because like I was just mentioning a moment ago with Quicksilver, you can't do Red Hulk, right? At least I don't believe you can. Anyway, because actually I'm pretty sure you can, because there's a separate currency for it. Anyway, since you can't do Red Hulk right now anyway, you probably want to do the next best character, next most important, next best damage deal. You get the point. Like what Gambit is to the Unlimited team. You can maybe make a debate for Archangel's team. I would say Dark Beast is the next one you would want to upgrade. You can maybe make an argument for Nemesis, or maybe even Magneto, but Dark Beast. And then for the other team, what's the other team anyway? Oh, it's Darkhold. Dude, Darkhold was so old, I totally forgot about it. Because you can't do Morgan, you probably want to do Wong, right? Wong is really, really strong. You can make an argument for the other characters too. Anyway, so Hulk is on my list. Hulk's awesome. Hela's a character that's a pretty crazy engine. She's a pretty crazy engine. She's a summoner, and Greg, her summon, is super strong too. So do not sleep on Greg, do not sleep on Hela, and also the Undying team. The Undying team is really, really strong in multiple modes yet again. Obviously things do start dropping off when you try to use them elsewhere, because they are designed to work in war, but nonetheless I would not sleep on that. She's also an extremely old character. Extremely old character. And they actually, ironically, just gave a 7 red in the milestone for the event ongoing right now, so this should be really easy to do. I've had the 7 red for like years. She was actually, I think, my first 7 red star pull, ironically. Anyway, moving on. Captain America. Honorable mention is now right here. For when I bring this guy up, I want to mention raid teams. So raid teams do fall into the criteria of like you use them consistently, but I wouldn't just upgrade any raid character. I mean, if you get them like when you're pulling, then fine. I wouldn't upgrade any raid character. This guy's on my list. Agent Venom isn't really on my list. Part of the reason why is because now with the best version of Rebirth, Agent Venom gets dropped off. I did a video on that. I'm going to show it where I can play the nodes or sim the nodes with Rebirth now, and it works every time because Scroll's down now instead of Venom. Venom did do good damage. I love him. I took him to 18 for Dark Dimension and everything, but he's the one I kind of drop off. But he's the main damage dealer for that team, right? Well, he was until you get Scroll, but you get my point. I don't think you should do any, but like, for example, Union Jack it's either him or Bucky as the best damage dealer for the Invaders team. I don't really love either of those characters, so I personally wouldn't put it in them. Like I said, we referenced Nick Fury. I'd probably put it in Iron Fist so he lives longer, etc. Captain America. You could also say that Captain Carter, by the way, is a good one to put your investments into because she keeps that team alive. Anyway, Captain America is designed to basically never die. He's trying to take a bunch of hits, get speed bar, taunt, give energy, all of that stuff. Very basic kit, but he's a character that is really, really valuable in raids and also can be plugged into other modes as your taunter, your tank, and help your team sustain. So I wouldn't sleep on him, because also he also has utility in some stuff that pops in war or whatever, and you could use him there. So anyway, moving on, he was the last character on my list, but because, like I said, we had to replace Quicksilver, our new honoree that got pushed into the video, because ironically I have to ignore like dark promo care edits, and I wouldn't really put him on a character like Rescue, who I took bigger than she needs to be because I really wanted to. I was like, screw it, I'm gonna do it. Omega Red. He's a character that you can still use in Crucible. You still can use him in War. You can't use him in Raids or Arena, but that's fine. That's understandable, because those two are very specialized modes. You also probably are taking him into Dark Dimension because they're forcing you to take non-Horseman legendaries, unless you just wait a long time, in which case Green Goblin's not out, but he will, and then eventually there will be more, and you probably just don't need to take him at all. But he's still I think he was the last non-Horseman, non-Scourge legend that came out. So there's that, before they changed the entire system. Omega Red has 2 ability blocks. He's got trauma. He's got life steal here. He prolongs debuffs. He gets the speed up here. Very, very valuable. He gets speed up here as well. Omega Red's awesome. Awesome character. Awesome freaking character. And so if you have him at 7 yellow, 7 red, you put that T4 for the basic on him, you give him the diamond of promotion, he will obviously be really, really strong. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave it up to you. Who are you guys taking? Really, I threw a ton of characters your way with all of my honorable mentions, so I really want to know who you guys were considering taking. Some of the characters that almost made it on my list were characters like Icarus or Spider-Woman. I really wanted to put Spider-Woman. I actually strongly considered Spider-Woman for a long time. I considered Doc Ock. I just am not really impressed with his rework. He does summon Shocker. He does keep his team alive, things like that. So maybe you consider him. I considered Black Widow, but she's also very kit-based. She doesn't really need it. Also, Black Widow has an absorbently high damage stat anyway. So I was like, there are a lot of characters that could be on the bubble, could fit it, but you probably don't need. And then I looked at Adam Warlock and was like, nah. But then I thought about Infinity Watch, and if I were to do that, it would probably be Phyla or Gamora, most likely Gamora, but you want to keep Phyla alive too. So it's just a whole thing. You could go through this for like every character. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time, guys.